Clerical sexual abuse, the paper trail. 1,000 years from now, students of jurisprudence will look back at the laws passed at the beginning of the 1st century of the 3rd millennium and find laws dealing with gun control, abortion, capital punishment, and prisoner abuse. They will rightly conclude that these issues must have been of great concern to us. Why would we have bothered to legislate for such issues if we were not having serious problems with them? Then they will read official documents, newspaper accounts, and trial records and find that we held great debates about life issues. They will discover that guns were a plague in our society, that abortion and the death penalty split the nation, and that we were sending prisoners to far away places to be tortured. And then they will say, "See, even way back then, laws were not passed in a vacuum. Laws are never passed in a vacuum. Legislators have enough to do dealing with real-life threats to society without wasting time on imaginary issues. Lawmakers, who return to the same issue over and over again, do it because the laws already on the books are not having their desired effect. Even the rare law that forestalls some hypothetical problem is passed because it anticipates a situation that poses a real threat in the present. There is always some reason for passing a laws. The same is true of Catholic Church laws. They, too, are not passed in a vacuum. Laws are passed, instructions are given, and decrees made in response to a perceived threat to the well-being of the faithful, the Church as a body or society at large. For instance, when Rome said birth control was immoral, it was not because of some hypothetical situation dreamed up in a moral theology textbook. X was because many Catholics believed birth control was morally acceptable and were already practicing it. And the more often Rome reinforces its stance on an issue, the more obvious it becomes that it is being disobeyed. Just like any other legislator, if Rome were to stop talking about an issue altogether, it would be either because it had given up on it or because it had gone away. A review of the history of the Church's legal system and case law demonstrates that there are some issues that never go away, no matter how hard Rome tries to legislate them out of existence. One of these topics is the consistent failure of clerics to observe their vows of chastity. From the early 4th to the early 21st century, we find a constant flow of monastic rules and canons promulgated by individual bishops. Gatherings of local bishops, councils of all the bishops, and papal decrees attempting to regulate the sex lives of the clergy. From the earliest days, when priests were allowed to marry, we find laws telling them to avoid sex. And when celibacy became mandatory for the clergy, we find laws against concubinage. We also find condemnations of homosexuality in the ranks of the clergy.